Hello everybody, I'm in front of the Bernabeu with Ruairidh Barlow, editor of Football Espana. Real Madrid 1, Juventus 0. Ruairidh, your take about the game?
Yeah, I thought Juventus did pretty well, it has to be said. Real Madrid didn't really have any chances until after the goal when I think things opened up a little bit more for them. But yeah, it was a pretty even game, and had Dusan Vlahovic converted that chance in about the 55th minute when he went one-on-one and Courtois says, I think it's a different game. I think, if anything, that was Juventus' biggest error, was missing that chance, because as soon as you miss a chance against Real Madrid, you know they're coming back with another one for themselves. So yeah, I think a decent enough showing from Juventus. I think Real Madrid played okay, but given the chances that Juventus had, they will feel that they could have won or lost this game in bigger fashion.
And I mean, you watch, of course, all Real Madrid games or games from La Liga with Football España. Is there, I mean, where did Juventus make Real Madrid struggle?
Yeah, I think Juventus played pretty well on the break. Leaving Vlahovic one-on-one was a good alternative. I think for Juventus, they maybe could have used that more. I mean, they didn't put many crosses into the box. That's an area that we've seen Real Madrid really struggle with, especially against Atleti in the derby. So I think putting more crosses in, having those wing-backs would have been more useful for Juventus. Having said that, I think Juventus did pretty well in just kind of managing Real Madrid's attack. There wasn't much space for Vinicius or Bellingham to run into. Kylian Mbappe, every time he got the ball, he had two players kind of close to him. So I think Juventus, they made life difficult for Real Madrid to attack, and knew that with that high press, they would be able to break it once or twice, and they did.
Yeah, the problem with crosses was it's a recurring problem with Juventus because they play with actually a centre-back, Pierre Kalulu, as a right midfielder, which was good defensively. He made some good forward runs as well, but then of course with the final touch, with the assist, it wasn't exactly ideal. We were saying before this video, we were talking about Kenan Yildiz, and I think it was another performance. I mean, I rated him 6 out of 10 in the Football Italia player ratings. Probably really you was giving a bit less than that.
Yeah, I think Yildiz is the person that, I'm coming from Spain, obviously, so I have a different perspective. He's the one that people hear about. He's the one that's the special player that Juve have, player they expect to make things happen. So I did expect a little bit more from him. I expected Juve to seek him out a little bit more and trying to find him in space, whereas I think players that got into good positions for Juventus were Weston McKennie, Kalulu, as you said, at times kind of coming forward from the back. So, yeah, I thought Juventus would make more use of him. And similarly with Vlahovic, as I was saying, I think as a target man, you want to make more use of him. They didn't try to hit him very often. Maybe that's because Vlahovic wasn't holding the ball as well as they might have liked. But for me, they could have made more use of those two players.
Yeah, some first touch from Vlahovic, especially on some counter-attacks, were pretty poor. He started the game pretty well, I think. He held up the ball and a couple of passes were good, but then he kind of went down through the game, and then he had a big chance and he couldn't convert it. And at some point at the end of the game, when all the players had gone from the pitch, he was alone on the pitch, and Di Gregorio nearly came out from the tunnel to give him a hug and just say, never mind. I mean, you got the chance, you missed it, but it's not an issue because Juventus played a good game. Of course, it's an issue because they didn't win. It's an issue because right now they would be out of the Champions League, but there are 5 more games to go. Juventus have 2 points in 3 matches. Real Madrid have perfect record.
Yes, 100% so far.
And they play Barcelona in the next one. So do you think that had an impact in the preparation for the game? Did you see any changes in attitude? What do you make of that?
I think the big question, as Real Madrid's leaders outside the stadium come to greet us, I think the big question is whether Jude Bellingham can find his home in this Real Madrid side. I mean, we mentioned it a little bit before as well off camera. Bellingham has struggled to really find his place in this side. Before, he was kind of given freedom to attack the last line, to go beyond the defence. Now he's playing a lot more positionally. He still gets into the box, of course, but not quite in the same fashion. We'll see if he's...
No, we're good.
They're doing a U-turn, so hopefully you can still hear me.
Yeah.
But yes, I think Bellingham, previously he had quite a clear role and it worked very well for him. Obviously he had that season with all the goals, it was very good. Now with Alonso, it's not quite clear because Mbappe is the clear number 9. Vinicius is staying out wide. And so the spaces that he used to attack are not always there. And on the ball, kind of as a deeper midfielder, he's not quite managed to put in performances that Alonso and Real Madrid would like so far. So what his role is undefined. On the other hand, Arda Güler, I think, has done very well. And you see now with Güler, there's something particularly that I like that he does a lot. He kind of looks off defenders, so he will look in a certain direction, knowing that he's going to fake out, going to go in a different direction, and disguises that ball a lot better, which is where a lot of Real Madrid's chances are coming from. You saw Mbappe have a couple of chances from that this evening. So I think Alonso, again, a lot of these Real Madrid performances this season have been not good, but not bad. So it's kind of in the middle. But tell me, from a Juventus point of view, the story for people in Spain was, is Igor Tudor going to keep his job? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, after tonight's performance, is definitely not losing his job before the next game, and he wouldn't have lost it anyway, unless, of course, Juventus suffered a big defeat. I think yesterday's press conference didn't help him. I made a video yesterday about explosive, I would say, press conference where he said that this Juventus team is still not ready to win, despite being called Juventus. So everyone expects Juventus to win titles and to win games easily, but this is no longer the case because the team has changed a lot. There are many young players. He complained about fixture list, he complained about referees, which is not something that you see from a Juventus manager too often. So that was not good. And the directors were right in front of him watching the press conference. So they were pretty surprised. I've heard about his explosive press conference, so I think the pitch will do the talking. What I'm scared about regarding Juventus is that tonight there was a solid performance, but I'm asking myself what's going to happen when they meet average teams or they meet clubs that are lower down in the table or mid in the table. They would need to keep possession longer, dictate the tempo, and it's not necessarily going to be easy for them because they don't really have the quality that is required to dominate proceedings. And I'm asking myself, whether Juventus can stick to the same sort of performance and play with consistency, try to dominate possession, which is clearly something they didn't do tonight, but it kind of suits better to the Juventus playing style to play on counter-attacks, which is something they can do consistently in Serie A. So, I don't know, today there was extra motivation from playing against Real Madrid as well, playing in the beautiful Bernabeu. So when things return to normal, I'm not sure they will be able to get consistent results. They haven't won since September 13, which is pretty heavy. And again, as I mentioned before, the type of communication chosen by Tudor, it's surely something that Juventus didn't like on the day of the game. So it's, I would say, still on the brink, but tonight's result brings a little bit more on his side, but really remains to be seen because the bad thing about Juventus is that anything can happen in any game against any opponent, so you never know whether they're going to have a solid performance, whether they're going to concede out of nowhere. They're still pretty weak on set pieces, so it's still a long way to go. But for sure, tonight, even though they lost the game, they had the proof that they can do something meaningful in this season and they can at least fight for the top 4 in Serie A, which is the minimum target. I was pretty surprised by the defense as well. I think Gatti probably had his best performance at Juventus, which means the best performance in his career. De Gregorio was pretty solid. Rugani was pretty solid as well. Kelly played a good game until they kept Jude Bellingham on side, and Real Madrid won the game. A few more things about the Merengues. Really, what do you expect from El Clásico?
Yeah, El Clásico I think will be very interesting because you've got two sides that in theory are going to try and press high. So that automatically means you've got a lot of space in behind. It means that the middle of the field will be very intense, will be very competitive. And it means that players like Chouameni, Pedri, Frenkie de Jong, however their game goes, or whoever can populate the midfield the most, they are likely going to be able to win the match. I think how Hansi Flick and Xabi Alonso approaches will be key, because Hansi Flick so far for Barcelona has been very much, this is my idea, this is my plan, we're going to stick to it, and the way to avoid defeat is to play that plan better. Whereas Xabi Alonso, we don't quite know. We've seen him make more adjustments, we've seen him kind of game plan for his opponents a little bit more. So will he kind of mix things up and change what Real Madrid have been doing? I think that's also a key factor. And then again for Real Madrid, the question here for tonight is kind of how good are Juventus? Because one of the big thing that people are criticising about Alonso is that every time they've come up against a big opponent in inverted commas, PSG or Barcelona or Atletico Madrid, Barcelona they haven't faced yet, they've lost, and they've lost heavily. So the big thing for Real Madrid is, can they compete, can they do this system against the bigger teams? And Barcelona are kind of the third test of Alonso for that. And people don't really know how good Juventus are, so I think it will be good for Real Madrid to kind of defeat a big name in Juventus. Even if we don't quite know if Juventus deserve to be, for me at least, at that level.
Absolutely. One final thing, and we connect with the Classico as well. There is controversy already in Italy for that Brahim Diaz foul on Kefren Turam. Personally, not just because I'm the editor of Football Italia, I think that deserved a red card. I mean, or at least the referee should have gone to the pitch side monitor and checked whether that was worthy of a red card. Is it something do you think is going to be discussed in Spain, especially ahead of a Classico? Because there are always referee controversies.
Well, it depends which media you read and which channels you watch. I think Barcelona channels, Barcelona papers will be discussing it at length. The refereeing experts that I've seen, Mateo Lahoz, Tudor, the Spanish kind of experts that are in the media a lot, they say it should have been a red card and should have been revised by VAR. Having said that, I mean, I think these challenges, especially when you slow them down, can be a little unjust to the players making these fouls because it happens so quickly. But yes, I think in many instances, and actually there's a direct comparison today with Kenneth Taylor, an Ajax player who got sent off today against Chelsea for a very similar challenge, and I think Brahim Diaz was a little lucky to say the least.
Rudy, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. Thank you guys, we'll speak soon. Bye.